You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show.
Where you're from. What? Go, Danny. Go, Danny.
I was just feeling it. I can't tell you the last time I heard that song.
Probably last night. Oh no, because it was Boys and Men. That's right.
Come on.
Like, who are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mixing up your boy bands.
No, but I mean,
it's still boys.
Somewhere
that
between
are now men.
Yes, somewhere between 98 degrees and O-Town, we end up finding, hello, we are the Bachelor After Show on AfterBuzz TV. It is season 10, episode 3 and 4. We got a double dose, so we got a lot to get into. So first off, let's start off with introductions. I'm JC, and across the table, who do we got?
That was you first. That was a
Was
point
it?
to you.
I was
Yeah.
trying to be respectful. I'm Daniel Jacob Hoyt.
Kathy Kelly, I am so, no, of course we always start
No,
with
you
the,
pointed to him, which is fine.
but I meant to start with you.
So your point.
I have horrible pointing skills.
Okay.
Stephen, can we give her a round of applause? Because she makes the studio so pretty. Everyone put your hands together for Kathy Kelly.
No round of applause.
No love.
There they are.
Hey.
And of course we've got we don't have Roya back there. We've got we've got our own.
We got the beardless.
Yes, Stephen Lemieux. What's going on, Stephen? Thank you for raising my self-esteem. Okay.
Love you guys. Ready for the Bachelorette tonight.
And we've got a lot to get to, so we're gonna move quickly because we've got dates with Nick, with Dylan, Boys the Men, Who Got Game, JJ being a bad grandpa, Marcus, and of course, the very poignant moments with Eric. So first off, let's start with overall thoughts on, how are we going to break this down, guys?
Just in order.
You
Yeah,
wanna
let's
do
just
it?
go
Yeah.
chronological.
Okay, so we're going to start with in last night's episode 3, overall thoughts.
I thought that we really got to see a lot more from the one-on-ones. That was good.
Yeah.
I have a question. With Nick, what did they do on their date? I know this is last night. I don't remember. I remember their moments. I remember what happened, but I don't even remember what they did.
They met outside. I don't either. I remember what he was. This is sad. This is really sad. I remember what he was wearing. I don't remember what they did outside.
Danny,
I remember.
that sounds about right.
Well, I liked his jacket. I didn't like his double V-neck thing.
I remember that she kissed him a lot.
Let's just talk about right now. Andy's kissed a lot of people. What's the kiss count at? Do you have it?
It's
I
a
do.
lot.
JC?
Okay, kiss count from last
The
night.
kiss count's at?
Okay, she kissed Nick twice.
Yep.
Marcus twice.
Yep.
JJ with his old lips and everything, like 4 times.
Well, because they were like kiss and then talk and then kiss and then talk. It was very.
It was also type of kiss, and I actually have a tell.
Okay. Oh, I have
Andy's-
one too. Do we have the same one?
Maybe we'll get into it in a minute. It's
Okay.
a tease. We're teasing ourselves here.
All right.
Kathy's like, get me out of here. So, but let's get into the first date. They were in glorious Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
They're easing their way before they go to Venus, so Kathy's
Venus?
Venus? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus?
possibly,
I follow
because,
you.
Kathy's
funny joke.
just like killing me tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because they always go to these exotic lands. So
Why
they're starting
is Venus the place that
'cause
they're
it's
going?
out of Earth.
I thought you mispronounced Venice.
I thought you did.
That's
for a
what I
second,
thought.
too.
That's why I was giving you a weird
I was
look.
trying to cover your back. Like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
I am Juan Carlos, not Juan Pablo. Moving on.
Ay.
Okay.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right. So let's talk about the skeptic, Nick.
Yeah.
Is this actually working in his favor? Because in a way, could he be playing hard to get?
Clearly, not all skeptics work on Andy, so
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, well said. But his like laissez-faire attitude and kind of he's just
I kind of like it. I feel like it's kind of like a calming confidence.
okay. Yeah, you feel that? Okay, yeah.
I kind of respect it. Like, I don't feel like I feel like he's confident in who he is. Like, it's not like a boring Dylan for me. It's more of like I mean, I know Dylan's was heavy, but
Yeah.
like Dylan,
Sure.
even before he shared the heavy stuff, was boring. It wasn't. It was maybe a little calmer, but I don't feel like he's not confident who he is. I feel like he's very confident, and I think it's a little bit of like his play. Yeah.
I don't think that it's his play at all. I think that he sees that there are a lot of really good-looking guys there, and I don't think that he necessarily feels like he stacks up. So he's kind of being more reserved. And
Well,
like
let me
taking a back
clarify
seat.
play.
But what?
By play, I mean by play, I mean yeah. There's a lot of guys that are really loud, obnoxious, and he's like, look, I don't need to make myself stand out. I'm just gonna be who I am, and like that's
Yeah.
who he is. That's what I mean by
I think
play.
that who he is
Not
a
like
little
he's
bit
acting.
insecure. Yeah. No, I don't think that he's acting
I
at
don't
all.
think he's insecure. I think he's opposite. I think he's very secure and confident, and he's just like humble. Like, here I am. Take me or leave me. This is what I am, and I'm confident in
He's
it.
more mellow.
He's more mellow.
Yeah, I think that's why he's been
Mellow-
reserved is because
mellow
he's
yellow.
a little bit.
I find it quite intriguing with Andy's selection of in her tastes and the men that she's really starting to be drawn to. You have the confident alpha males like your Josh M, and you could even say Marcus to a degree. He's that smooth, very alluring guy, and then you have Nick V, and you have JJ, who are the kind of
I
JJ's
don't think she's into JJ.
I don't think so
quirky.
either.
I think that I really feel like she likes Nick because with the tell of the kissing, like I felt like she just keeps on going back in for more with him. And then she also said that he's the one that makes her feel most comfortable thus far.
Ooh, she said that?
She said that, but she also said it with JJ. She could be herself. But let's get into
She said that she could be herself, but with him, she said specifically, he's the one that I feel most comfortable with.
Okay. Well, let's leave it up to the AfterBuzz TV Nation. We'll let you guys stew on it a little bit, but before we do that, let's go into a little promo we have of Maria Menounos and her upcoming book.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here, and I want to share my newest book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, with you. Basically, every woman always stops me and asks me how I lost 40 pounds, so I decided to put it all in one book. Everything I did to lose 40 pounds step by step, and how you can too, is in here. I did it with no time, no money, and no willpower, and now I'm going to show you how to do it too. You can pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever books are sold, and it's out June 3rd. So I hope you guys love it. I hope it helps you in your weight loss journey, and please, please tweet me and update me on your progress at Maria Menounos. Thanks.
I really like what she said at the end about tweeting your progress.
Yeah.
Because that's
cool.
so important for like weight loss goals and
It's
things.
kind of a community
Oh wow.
in a way.
I
Just
like that.
tweeting your progress. So I know firsthand, like Maria, obviously everyone knows she's in ridiculous shape.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
ever since I started working for them, there are just little things that both her and Kevin, our creators, have like helped, and just little tips that they've mentioned. And one of the things is they always have hot water and lemon in the morning and at night. And and it just like what she says is that it helps kind of kickstart your metabolism and it fills you up. And yeah, so that's just one of the little tips that they have.
Do you do that?
To help you? Yeah.
Wow.
My water.
doing it right now?
I'm doing it right
Yeah.
now.
Guys.
Because Maria taught me that same tip. It was great. So
Well, shoot, I appreciate the knowledge. Maybe I'll take that
But
time.
there are a lot of tips in it. It's not just that, so I didn't give everything away. But there are a lot of great tips in the book.
Well, shout out to Kevin. He does have a shirtless picture on page 88. So, way to go, Kevin Undergaro.
all right, I'm in. All right, so wait for this
You're
Tuesday.
in because of Kevin's show.
Absolutely.
It's like the
You're not in because of the
centerfold.
picture on the front? Come on, look at the striations. It's
you kidding me?
amazing.
Absolutely.
Girls, get this book.
After the
Guys,
shape cover,
too.
I'm in.
All
Okay,
right.
so moving on, we're talking Bachelorette. So, group date, boys to men. Oh my God.
I love how there was only like two guys who legitimately knew who they were when they walked in. You could tell.
Yeah.
Markel and
Josh.
Was it Josh or
think it was-
Cody?
One of the two.
It was Josh or
But
Cody.
I think
you
they
could tell-
still had to be told who that like.
Yeah.
I
she
feel
was
like Markel was like, oh, it's Boys to Men.
Yeah, and
He's
then it
"Is that
spread like
Boyz-"
wildfire.
He's like, that's Boys to Men. And everyone was like, oh, shoot. Like, it could have been three
No,
random
and this
guys.
is what it was. This was Cody went around to every guy, and he was the total bro, like, bro, it's Boys to Men, yeah, yeah, and he like dapped every single guy. It was very broy.
You guys started so high, but let's get into the low because, good Lord.
Not a dang one of them.
No.
Not even the opera guy. And I feel like they set him up for failure. The way they edited that, like,
So, we watched this together last night, and I feel like they could have easily played it in a different key and then like played the background music in a different key, had them on a mic that only play or had their music, and then they changed the key of the. Or they added that in later.
What's the fun in that? I mean,
The fun is to make them all sound awful, and
Yes,
then
I love that.
so there is fun in it.
and the fact that, come on, Josh, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Also, at the end, when they did the what's it called, the credit or the bloopers, how they always do bloopers at
Yeah.
the end, and they had all the guys singing. Obviously, when you're singing a song without background music, you're going to choose the key that fits you best.
Right.
So you could be, half an octave up or something like that, and then you're out of tune with everyone else, even though you're still in tune with just yourself.
Kathy, we need John Idol next season. You're fantastic. I
No.
loved it. No, and I was going to say, but it was refreshing in a comical way to see Josh, because
They're not perfect.
Yes, he does everything so well, and I was just like, I had like they had that cutaway for that little girl that was like scared
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
of them. So
Of
it
course,
was
you could tell who was nervous when they were singing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily out
Oh
of key,
yeah, but I appreciate the guys that went for it anyways,
Yeah.
and I think that's the reason they do it, to see who can break out of the shell. And
I did like Josh when he was like,
I forgot
he was
the
out of key.
words.
He's like, and I forgot the words.
yeah,
that
but it was like
funny.
cool, like okay, whatever. I can't sing. I forget the words.
But
I'm
he's
just gonna go.
confident with it.
Yeah.
He's laughing.
Spontaneous.
He smiles so much, and that's a quality that I really appreciate.
Let's go. Yeah.
Is that a quality, or is that something he was born with? Like he's just a smiler.
I don't think people are just born as smilers. I think it's a sign of a happy person.
Okay. Okay. I mean, there are people who naturally just smile at everything.
I smile a ton.
She's a smiler.
But I also get pissed off sometimes. I feel like he smiles a lot. And he's giddy because he's around Andy, or
Yeah.
he's just naturally very happy.
I don't think I see it on the board that one of the topics is Josh's smile. But
But it was a topic on this board.
I feel like if drunk accountant was here, he would talk about it.
Craig?
But
Much-
he got, yeah.
Much love for Craig. So let's move on to the important stuff, the love stuff.
Yeah.
That night, where we open up with Andy pulling a little prank on Cody, and okay,
That was hilarious.
You loved it. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And I thought he was gonna Frankenlow. I'm calling him like.
Wait, can I say something before this?
Absolutely.
About the singing, real quick, because I started to say this, and it's going to make a point for the second night tonight. But they set Bradley, the opera singer. They showed a lot of scenes of him saying like, "This is my date. I'm the singer. I feel like I got an advantage." They showed a ton of that, and then they showed him singing. And obviously, it was a little bit of editing, but they would show him singing. They would cut to the guys from Boyz II Men being like, "Oh," and then the baby covering her ears.
Yeah.
But they kind of let him like talk himself up, only to not perform.
Obviously, the baby covering her ears is because it's loud.
It's loud.
It's not
Well,
because
it was
she
loud and
hates them
obnoxious.
singing.
Right, and it wasn't necessarily even for Bradley, but I'm just saying the edit was interesting, and it's a foreshadowing for a point I want to make for later.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, welcome to the world of reality TV.
Right.
I wanted to say my favorite line from the night was from Eric when they were talking about the song, and he goes, "I'm pretty sure I touched my first butt to I'll Make Love to You."
That was awesome.
I wrote that down as well.
That
So
was
good.
such a killer line. That was so funny.
Great moments, but
Yeah.
when we move on to that night, I mean, that evening,
Mm-hmm.
here's where I start seeing a tell with Andy.
What is it?
Okay, when she's with Josh M.
Yep.
Are we in the same wavelength, Danny?
Let's do it at the same time. Wait.
Oh, she holds,
The back of their neck.
yes, the back of his neck and the back of the guy she's really interested in. You'll see that because it's a tell. Usually, when I want to keep kissing you, I don't want the man to pull away.
Okay.
And we learned that from the body language from a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
So when I see her with Nick, even though we were saying they get along really great, when I saw them on their first date, they were neutral. When I see her with Josh, she's grabbing the
Oh,
back of
yeah.
his neck.
See, my
the back-
tell is different. She purses and licks her lips. She goes like this and holds them in.
I feel like it's also
She's
the
done it with
length
every
of
guy she's kissed.
kisses, because there are a couple we'll talk about in episode 4 that she'll like kiss, but like she won't go back in for more kisses. Like the other ones, like she lingers and like keeps kissing them.
Okay.
Like Josh M. She did
Yeah.
it with Nick. By the way, her and Nick had kissed really quickly at dinner. Did you guys know? It was
The first
the
one
first
was
date.
weird. Yeah.
It was like we'd already done this before. We've already been dating. Like it was just like moved right
Yeah.
in for it. It
And
wasn't.
they might have kissed earlier and we just didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
And before I forget, also Nick got a rose, of course. He,
Mm-hmm.
he continues on. And then, of course, Josh ended up getting a rose. surprise. But
Yeah.
Marcus was hurt, so that was interesting to see. He's really. I love Marcus. He's a great guy.
The way on that group date that she was hanging out with Josh, she like with the blanket and everything, she just seemed so comfortable with him. Like it just seemed like, I mean, we'll talk about it in episode 4, but how Eric said, he's like, well, every time we hang out, it's so staged, like you have to sit like this, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And when she's with some of these other guys, it's not like that. Like, it's not like, okay, you sit in this direction, you sit over here in this direction, and then you talk and have a conversation, but be cognizant that the camera is that way. She's just like, oh, let's hang out. Like,
I
the
will
cameras aren't
say,
even here.
She had a scene with Nick where they kissed and they would talk. They kind of did the, I don't want to do it with my microphone because that's weird, but they kissed and then they backed up and like said a couple words and kissed again, and then she did the double arm wrap around him like this and pulled him in. Kind of to your point of like a tell of like, please don't stop. Very comfortable, not staged at all. I see the same, almost similar comfortabilities between Josh and Nick. For me, I feel like they're pretty neck and neck.
Okay. All right. So still early, but we do got to move on.
Yeah.
We got a lot of content. So let's move on to Love is Timeless. And right before that, you hear Dylan has a secret. So they start placing that for later play. But what did we get out of Bad Grandpa, JJ?
Such an awkward date.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, she even said it, she's like, when they were on the carousel and they were about to kiss, she's like, I don't want to kiss an old man. She's like, I thought about it for a second. Like, that just, I don't know.
But to the positive side, I think that would be such a fun date. That would be so much fun to like go out on like the Venice boardwalk and just jack around as old people and do stuff just to get reactions. Come on.
Date 2. But date 1.
Yeah, not date 1.
Date 1 felt weird to me. And they made him a really good old man.
Yeah, he looked like Johnny Knoxville in Bad Grandpa. He looked exactly like him.
But Andy, I didn't see that they really did her up as much as they
They
did
want to
JJ.
make her look good still, obviously. They want her to be a hot grandma. A gilf.
Yes. Yeah, so
That was
you guys
awesome.
are saying it's friendship. I see laughter is a key.
Yeah, they did laugh a lot.
They did.
I thought that it was kind of staged, though. Is like all those people in the park were clearly extra, or they're not gonna get all of them to sign waivers after this weird. I don't know. It just seemed kind of staged.
Okay, all right. So you say it's a set. Well, it was
still a cute
rehearsed.
date, yeah.
Okay, Danny?
And it got them talking.
I don't know if it was necessarily staged. Those could have been cameras inside of, inside of cars with clean windows, like inside of vans, which they do. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it was necessarily set up, especially the group of guys that was sitting over there that took the picture. It's like a group of just like friends that were sitting there. But I think they kind of picked up on it when they started throwing the football and doing cartwheels in
Yeah.
between.
Okay.
There was
The guys were like, wait a second, what is going on here?
the 1 second when they asked, they're like, "Can you take a picture?" And the only person other than them in frame was a baby. And I was like, "What is going on?"
Are they asking the baby?
And then the mom comes out, like the camera pans, and the mom comes over. "Oh yeah, I'll take a picture." I was like, Is this like a joke?"
That was funny.
But that night he opens up and he talks about his fears and his insecurities. With all that said, and there's a great dichotomy about him, but is he too goofy for that to be taken seriously, for it to get physical between them? To have that element.
I don't
'Cause
know.
I think all these bachelorettes, I think everyone, you want that total package.
Yeah.
Is he too goofy? Is he just right? And judging from what I'm gathering, I'm saying no, because she's into the athletes. I'm seeing, as much as she says she wants to try
She likes
something
to see
new.
that like manly man.
Yeah.
We'll get into episode 4 of what
Yeah.
happened there. You can
was
see
turned by
she likes.
Turned on by athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia
that's true.
Bulldog. I mean, no, actually LSU Tiger. Sorry.
Yeah.
But she's really into her athletic guys, so I don't know if I see anything there. If that's just part of the
I know, I think
Showman.
JJ's a little too like Gumby, goofy.
So, but you know what I found most interesting when we move on to cocktails, to cocktail night, and it's
Cocktails got very interesting.
Andrew.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the fact that he ends up giving? Okay, he said the number was given to him.
That's such a cop out right away.
Yeah,
That's such a cop out.
I think that I don't agree with what he did by any means. I think that it's gross, but at the same time, I could totally see it as like all the guys are kind of like they're bored, like they haven't gotten out of the house in however many, like, I don't know, days, like they're cooped up, and so they're probably like joking like, oh man, like, yeah, I could get girls' numbers, like, you know, whatever. And then it just kind of turns into that, like, he wasn't actually interested in this girl. It was like,
Right, but even then, it's a stupid thing.
no,
to
I
do.
know that it's
Yeah.
stupid, but I'm just saying I could see that it was like, it could have been taken out of context, and they
Yeah.
just wanted to use it as like a drama thing to get him kicked off.
What if it was a girl? These are all the guys from The Bachelor, and a girl could have been a little bit starstruck, and could have handed him his number. Deep blue eyes. I don't know.
I don't know.
Just, okay.
But the way he reacted was even worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
To turn around and walk
He looked
away. And I'm
guilty.
like, oh, that's like admitting guilt. You might as well have just said, yeah, I did. I'm an idiot. He says, I'm not going to engage in this, and turns around and walks away. And then they follow him and really like, oh, that shows your true character. What a man's man. Why don't you man up, Andrew? And he walks in and shuts the door like a 4-year-old. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
I was wondering if he asked for one of the WNBA players' numbers.
Moving on. Wow.
I mean, if that was the second opportunity.
Well, let's talk about this. He doesn't get like any camera time in the group date in tonight's in Monday night's episode.
Monday night's
Yeah,
episode.
so it's just like basically since then we haven't seen much of him at all.
Well, and we're going to talk about it in the next few minutes because I did find that
Yeah.
interesting coming up in episode 4.
Yeah.
But before that, let's wrap up with who got sent home. And of course, Danny called it. By the way, painting the guy in not a good spotlight. Bradley got sent home.
Yep.
Brett, the hairdresser,
We also lost Ron.
and that Ron,
Yeah.
who it was a loss of, I guess, a close friend.
yeah,
And
he was shaken. I
Yeah.
feel really prayers out to you, man. That's tough. And I know this was a while ago, but still, that's just tough.
And it seemed like he was one of the guys that everyone really got along with in
Yeah,
the house.
he seemed like
so
a good
They
guy.
felt for him when he did leave.
yeah, and this season.
I didn't really see chemistry with him and Andy. I don't know how much longer he would have maybe stayed around, but
Right.
he did seem like a really good guy, so that's
Genuine.
tough. Yeah.
So many things that are going on.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, in this season, I think
Yeah.
more than any other season, and I'm not even talking about what we'll talk about at the end of episode 4, but like Dylan starting here in episode 4.
Yeah, it was heavy.
With Bachelor. I mean, when they're in Connecticut. Who knew that the hotbed of romance was Connecticut? I
Yeah.
did not know that.
I didn't either.
No, but
But New England.
But Dylan, we finally find out, more of what's going on with the, he lost his, he grew up without a father, lost his brother, lost his sister, lost his brother to drug abuse, and just so much there. I mean, this was difficult for
Yeah.
me to watch.
My heart broke when he told that story. Like that, like Andy said, no one should have to go through that. And then I'm sure, like, sharing that on camera and so publicly, it must have been hard.
Oh my gosh.
Really hard. I can't even imagine.
He held it in better than I could have.
Yeah.
How is he on the show? That's what I wonder. How, mentally health, and not questioning his mental, but I mean just his sight fit. How can you be on the show after such events like this? I'm sure you're still trying to get a grasp yourself, with such a difficult situation. And this season is so emotional. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, can he handle something like this right now? He's so fragile.
My thing was, I don't, as much as I felt for him in this moment, I didn't really see much chemistry between him and Andy. And he kept on saying, he's like, don't give me a pity rose. And she kept on, that was weird. She kept on calling it a pity rose. And she's like, this isn't a pity rose. This isn't a pity rose.
It was almost like
and
Freudian
it was like,
talk, yeah.
it kind of seemed like it was at that point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really see much chemistry between them. As I think he's a great guy.
Let me ask you this:
but-
in that moment, if you were sitting there and you were Andy and he's telling you that, even if it was a pity rose, would you do it because you have a good heart?
Oh, I mean, I think that I would give it to him
Yeah.
because there's no reason not to. Like, I would still want to learn more about him.
Yeah. Well, he did say, he goes, if I'm still around, I want you to be able to see the real me. And I think she was, before he shared the story, I think she was trying to
knew.
say, like, Well, she knew something, but when he goes, well, if I'm still around, I want you to see the real me. And I think she was trying to say, well, show me the real you now. Like, why are you saying you're going to hope to show me later? Show me now. But then he starts talking. I think she put on the brakes and was like, okay, let me give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Like, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? So whether it's a pity rose or not, I don't really disagree with her decision to do that. You know?
Yeah, no, I just
Yeah.
Even if it was, I'm not mad at her
Yeah.
for it. I think I would probably do the same thing.
So I also wanted to talk about. I thought it was interesting that we hadn't really heard about Andy's dating past, and this was the first time where we did. He kind of asked her some questions, and he was like, "Oh, well, you know, what was your last relationship?" Because he was talking about how his last relationship was an 8-year thing, and he just didn't see it working out, and then her getting engaged, and we learned about Andy's relationship where it was a 3-year thing. And it's weird because I feel like most bachelors or bachelorettes, we know so much about them. And I was wondering if that was a product of Juan Pablo because he never asked questions.
Ooh, that's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's always seemed like it's the bachelors talking about their history, not hearing about Andy's history.
Yeah.
I feel like we never hear about their history
Right.
on their seasons. We always learn about it before they're the bachelor or bachelorette.
Yeah, it's great points. I mean, I don't know what's going to go on with happen to Dylan. I just hope that he can heal and just get ready for his new now and move on and be strong and and as we all know, Bachelor's a family. So I'm sure he's part of the great Bachelor family.
He's got
They'll-
support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's move on to the.
Can we actually talk about in episode 3, we didn't mention this, but Nick giving her flowers in the middle of Eric's date.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
that was a big point for me. While it was a good move, I thought that it was kind of not rude on the producer's part,
Yeah, it was
but like
producer's
to
call
put
winning.
it in someone else's, it was in Eric's time, but like in anyone else's time, that's kind of rude. Like they
Yeah.
could have had the flowers delivered to her at any point in the night, and they did it intentionally while she was sitting down with someone else.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to okay it because there's no way he could call or use email to get flowers if
Yeah, and also you could see that that's where Eric kept on wondering his place, their place, if they had something actually that they could pursue.
Yeah.
honestly, I think that was the beginning of it,
Yeah.
that moment.
And seeing that, I've noticed this in this season more than any other season, the foreshadowing, these little things that happen along the way that play out much later in the season, more than ever.
Yeah.
So, and one thing with Nick, he always sorry to jump back. He always maximizes every moment that he has. From letter, he sent her that little, was it that date card?
Yeah.
Date card,
That
the
was cute.
roses.
He's very thoughtful. Like he's I mean, obviously all of the guys are thinking about her when she's not around, but it, like she said, it was very reminiscent of what would happen in the real world if you go on a date with a good guy. He would send you flowers.
Yeah, and it keeps him in the forefront of her mind,
Yes,
you know?
this is very important. So,
Even when he's not with her.
yeah, so like, was he with her for the Who Got Game date? No, I don't think he was playing. Yeah, we had the Rosebuds and the Five of Hearts. Did we learn anything here?
Except that the Five of Hearts is clever and Rosebuds isn't.
Well, if you noticed,
Yes.
the Rosebud shirts was printed. It was like they had it printed before the date, Rosebud's team, and the other ones didn't have anything printed on them. So I feel like the producers got these 2 shirts and that one of them was either a misprint and it was like 5 of heats or something like that, and then they had to change it or something, or like I don't know, something.
Or the guys just
something
hated it
happened.
and they asked if they could come up with their own.
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
It could be something as simple as that. I don't know.
I don't think
it's funny.
the producers would go that far.
Can we talk about Andy coming out in those high top wedge heels though? Because I loved those.
I'm laughing at you two right now. I love it. No, okay. For me, these group dates, I wish they made them shorter. Because,
Really?
Yes.
I
Because
think I learned a lot about it, the guys in them.
you think so?
I feel like they need to be longer for them because they don't get much time with her one-on-one.
Yeah.
Okay, the second half of the group dates, yes, but the first half, the
Oh, yeah.
games and the boys and
I
men.
like it. I think you do learn a lot about, like
Yeah.
she said, you learn about how competitive someone is. That's kind of
And how they
actually
react,
really
like-
important.
Well, you watch Josh get hit in the face, and he got up, He kind of like made a face, went and shot his free throws. I mean, what they showed us. Then they showed at halftime. I believe it was Brian or Craig getting interviewed. They were kind of doing their
Craig's
little.
gone.
Chris.
Chris, the farmer.
Yeah.
Showed him getting interviewed, and Josh comes up. They're on opposite teams, and he comes and puts his head on his shoulder and kind of like says something. They're on opposite teams. There's a lot of competitiveness going on, yet there's still being like sportsmanship.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about somebody, and I learned a lot about both those guys in that moment.
And if she likes athletic dudes, this is a perfect example of who's athletic and who's not.
She's at the freaking
This is
movie
how you
theater, like
judge it,
watching.
yeah.
That's still, it's for Andy, so she can
Exactly.
see the guys in short shorts walk around.
They do it every season.
Yeah.
Just this season, there's just so many other things going on around it. That's, to me, there's so much depth with,
Yeah.
things going on with Dylan, and I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff going on with Nick and her, and and everything that happened with Eric. There's so much going on outside of it that in the game and the Boys the Men, it breaks it up, it keeps it light, but keep it short.
Yeah.
It-
I wanted to know, before they got in their jerseys, what was JJ wearing? Because he had a weird hat on. Like, I
did-
don't know if you noticed it. It looked...
Danny noticed the shirt. It was the JJ T-shirt.
No. So he was wearing something beforehand that was weird. He was wearing something
Yeah.
really weird.
It was
beforehand.
like weird jersey pants with a t-shirt or bro tank or something, and
pants
then
were
like
really,
a weird
baggy.
hat.
His style was off, and he's a pantsapreneur, and
Right.
these were absolutely not what's like in for pants. Also, while they're playing basketball, Kathy, I don't know if you noticed this, and if you guys at home, if you notice this, he's the only one wearing a shirt with something on it, and it's JJ. A little cross promotion going on. So makes me wonder, naturally, is he there for the right reasons?
Conspiracy.
Is there something going on? He's wearing a shirt that says JJ, his logo for his company. So I'm just saying.
Is it the logo for his company, though?
Well, I
do
would
not know.
assume. Does he need people to remember what his name is? I'm guessing JJ has something to do with his company.
We'll find out. We'll find more than likely, but
Just-
I'm
That's also his name.
Who wears a Do You Wear shirt with your name on it?
No, but there are so many girls that wear like necklaces with their...
a necklace is one
initials.
thing. A shirt that says Danny on it, and I walk around and on national TV, like, come on.
we are so getting sidetracked.
Maybe
Sorry.
it's because there's so many guys there. He doesn't want someone to think that it's their shirt.
Pass the ball to JJ.
All right, so okay, obviously I didn't think we had a lot of time for the basketball game, but obviously there is a lot to talk about it because when they lost, the drama.
Oh, it was so heavy. So many curse words.
Especially
So many
Josh.
beeps. Gosh. Well, Josh but he's an athlete. Any athlete takes a loss really serious, especially when it means time.
Okay, I'll give you
He was
that.
just so like melancholy by the bleachers, like
He
with his
was.
1 foot up, leaning.
That was such a stage shot, though. Like, let me lean here and soak in my memories of the last 3 hours.
I'm sure it was like, hey, can you wait over there? And they just waited for him to like.
Waiting for him to like process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, the guys are busted up, and then yes.
Sorry, one more thing. Here's what I was foreshadowing.
Okay.
So this date, kind of like Bradley and the singing with Boyz II Men, this was very much Brian's wheelhouse. He's a basketball coach. This is what he does. And they give him a ton of camera time, him saying, this is my moment. This is what I do. This is where I got to shine. So I was wondering if they were going to set him up for failure, and it was the opposite. They set him up for success.
Yeah.
They showed him making. I mean, the score was only 6-6 at halftime, which is terrible. However, we don't know the length of the time and whatever. But they did show him making, I believe it was 5 or 6 different shots, 2 3-pointers and 3 or 4 layups. A couple of them around guys.
Steals, assists. He was doing it all.
Yeah, he cookies on a guy. He tapped it. Oh, it was nice. It's a basketball.
Sorry, it's Bachelorette. Okay, we got to stop.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Anyways, they set him up for success.
Yes, and then they had their moment. Now, the second half of the night, we have, of course, Eric once again bringing up his concerns. So this replayed a few times before what happened at the end of the episode. So he needed that reassurance. I'm looking at my notes. He questions how formal they are, and you start noticing the friction just
Yeah.
start to build a little more between them. So, I mean, what I was surprised was what the difference was between last night's episode and tonight's. You know, because it really ratcheted up between the two of them.
I mean, I wonder if it was just he, episode 2 and 3, he was kind of like, oh, well, I'll give it one more shot. Maybe it's just, because we're all getting used to the cameras. And then it didn't change, so he finally wanted to say something. He's like, I've had, 3 or 4 interactions with her since our one-on-one date, and it's been very formal, and he feels like she's acting So he wanted to say something.
It started to fester a little
Yeah.
more. So I thought you were gonna add something, Danny. But with everything that went on that night, what stood out to you? I think you and I were on our pins and needles because Danny and I were watching this part of the show together, and who was gonna get the rose? Because she had her one-on-one time with Brian.
Yep.
And he had his moment. He had the moment to shine, but he didn't kiss her.
I was so mad
He
at him
made
for
up
that.
for it. He
Did
made
he?
up for it.
I mean, come
yeah.
on. You drop the line of what do I get if I hit this? And she said, well, you have to see. And she's walking out in this little black leather dress, shaking her hips. Like, she looked so good. She knew what she was doing. I thought in this moment, he knew what he was doing. Hits the shot, and that's a real surprise on her face. That's a real surprise on his face because he was like, oh my God, I actually just did that.
I mean, I think
and then,
he knew he was going to do it.
Well, I mean, you can't. No.
No.
I've hit several half-court shots, but it takes like 3 or 4 tries. Like,
But
as
he's
a-
also a basketball coach. He does that for, like,
No,
a
you don't shoot
living.
half-court shots for shots.
He
I
might-
played college basketball. You don't shoot them for a living.
Okay, he doesn't shoot half-court shots for a living, but I'm sure that if that was his specialty, he was like,
It's
oh, this is
nobody's
my
specialty.
trick
It's just
shot.
like a joke. Well, so he has a more legit chance, but still to hit on your first try is hard. What I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
this: he hits it legitimately on the first try and walks up and high fives her,
Yeah.
and then hugs her. That's on
He
him.
said
I thought he lost the rose
said
at
that
this
he
point.
was he's bad with reading signs and that he's bad with girls. He's like kind of nervous. So I thought that was more endearing than
Is
a
it?
guy that was like, "Oh, well, now you owe me a kiss."
But she was hot for Brian.
Oh yeah, she loved it.
Even still, when she did her like interview, her like they put, she does her interview,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and she was still like grabbed her head and put her head. She's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But what I found most interesting after she talked to all the guys and Nick V had time with her. And
Yeah.
Did she have any
Nick
time with?
V had his hand on her butt too.
Yes.
They closed up on it.
It told me a lot who she gave the rose to. Brian V. Brian, basketball
yeah.
coach. She likes some athletes.
Brian Bass.
Yeah.
How is a non-athlete going to win this season? So that's limiting my guys. I'm like Josh and Brian.
She likes athletes, but she doesn't like golfers.
Wow. All right. But here's the one.
Golfers are athletes.
Now, is Marcus athletic? Moving on to the second date.
I'm not sure if Marcus is athletic.
I don't know that Marcus is that athletic, and I don't know that Nick V is that athletic.
Okay, so
Nick
then,
V, I bet, is a golfer.
No, because I'm formulating my prediction now. Because so I'm gonna have to scratch Marcus out, even though he talked her down
But
a giant building better than anyone's done it in any season. Because
Oh,
once
that was
again,
fantastic. I gotta give him that.
He
Like,
said all the right things.
and it wasn't just that he was like just trying to be like super encouraging. He was giving her practical things like, okay, move your foot like this, do it like me, put your right hand here. You got this. You can do.
He's like,
it was
look at me, trust me.
It was the perfect combo.
Trust yourself. That's the biggest thing. He's
trust
like, trust yourself, trust yourself.
Yeah.
And then when they were going down and she was still nervous, he was like asking her questions to distract her, which I thought was really cute.
And she answered him too, which that was a cool moment.
And for how nervous and scared he was to make it more about her and her fear than
Said a
himself,
ton.
that says so much about his character.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know, I just feel like there are people that they would make it more about them and like them looking good than actually caring about her.
wasn't Chris like that with Desiree last season as well?
Yeah.
He was always putting Des 1st.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
That's what you want in a partner. is
Absolutely.
both people to put each other first.
so I mean, can the guy get more perfect than that?
If he was an athlete.
We don't know.
I'm kidding. I thought he was perfect. But yeah, I don't know.
What did we get out of the night portion of chorus? That. Oh,
So I wanted to say we jumped into this date first before I wanted to finish my thought on the athlete thing. Is she said multiple times she's looking for something different. She has a type, but she doesn't think she wants to go with that
yeah,
anymore.
she said, but it hasn't worked so far.
So I think that
Okay.
she's trying to stay away from athletes.
she's
now.
trying to say, but all we see is
She
her.
probably gravitates towards it.
Yeah.
It's her
You know-
comfort area zone. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So that night, of course, Marcus and Andy are having their wonderful time in the oldest. What is it? Oldest
inn.
in America.
Yeah.
He hasn't been on a date for 3 years. What's
You guys
up?
believe that? Does that? If it's true, what does that say
Maybe
about him?
he-
Marcus, yes, I believe,
Yeah.
kind of believe him.
I don't know about Josh. He hasn't been on a date in 5 years.
Yeah.
I feel like he hasn't dated in 5 years. That's different. So maybe he's been on one or
So
two
he
first dates.
or he likes
several
playing the
first
single
dates.
guy life.
Yeah, so that's the thing is when guys say they haven't been on a date in however many years, I feel like that means that they could still hook up with girls. When girls say they haven't been on a date in 5 years, usually it means that they have not even talked to guys.
I think they haven't met a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I still don't get it, but of course he gets a rose and they kiss. They go and she holds the back of his head
Yeah.
again. I'm telling you.
She went in for the kiss when they were on the
That's
platform.
true.
the outside.
When they
I
were
thought it
rappelling.
was so funny that the guys were there too.
Yeah. Do you think they saw?
I don't think that they saw
I
the
don't think-
kiss.
I think they were, like,
I think
2
that
floors up.
They edited it so that it looked like they were closer, that they were a floor above, but I think that they were probably 5 floors up.
Okay. I don't know how he doesn't win. I guarantee he's got to be athletic. He's skiing or tennis or lacrosse, something. Maybe not a traditional sport because he's so he's very European. He's very cultured. He's soft.
European.
Yes, he's a Polish and was it
I
I
thought he was
forgot
from
his,
Texas.
he's from sports medicine manager, but he also his background. No, he was raised like in Europe.
Okay.
His childhood. He said that like in the first or second episode.
Is Europe a city in Texas?
Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
All right. So, but lastly, before moving on from Marcus, they had that little dance. And it was kind of like the opposite of her and Juan Pablo when they had their dance. Now she's on the other end of it, and there was now 2 people awkwardly dancing on the cube instead of just one. So, how does he not win? I'm telling you. He's a perfect package.
I don't know. We'll get into it in predictions.
That's why we still have 6 more episodes.
Yep.
So, we move on to Cocktails and Roses, and
we didn't really talk about the group date, though. The guys that won the group date.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I just want to say something. That's where Andrew got like 0 camera time. They showed all of the guys getting a moment with her except for Andrew because he was on the winning basketball team.
Okay.
And I just thought that was really interesting.
No, you're right, because then that means it's going to come to a head. Has to come to a head eventually.
Yeah.
Because how do they skip over it tonight? All the buildup we had last night, and they don't even mention it once tonight.
Yeah. So it's got. I think there's more to that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about. And also, Nick wins the award for best dressed again. Markel was a close second, but Nick won the award for best dressed. That pocket square with the patterned shirt and solid tie combo.
We're going to give you
Yeah.
fashion.
And the Cole Haan shoes with the matching brown leather watch with the same browns
We
to match.
skipped over the biggest thing on the Marcus date, though, is he said he was falling in love.
He did. Oh, he did. You're absolutely right.
Why
Go
did we
with it.
talk about this? I'm sorry. That is really fast.
4 weeks.
I mean,
They're in
they've
week
probably
4 at
been
this
there
point.
less time.
Yeah,
than
because-
that. They've probably been there like
3 weeks, I'd say.
2.5, 3 weeks,
Jeez.
and he's probably had 3 hours alone with her.
God. Ugh.
Could that be? I mean, because
He's falling in infatuation.
But that's, I mean, he said, which both of them said, I guess, is they're the type that trust really fast. It's not like they're wary at first.
That's
and
a gift and a curse.
It is. But I feel like when you find that and you genuinely believe that the other person is that as well, it's a lot easier to fall for someone and it
Yeah.
be genuine.
okay, that's scary. I
When
mean,
you know, you know?
and he knows.
When you know, you know, you know.
Do you think he wrote the letter? Because she got a.
Who did write that
Oh,
letter?
can we talk about this? Kathy and I read the letter last night. We paused the TV and like read it up close. When you and I watch it today, it said your secret admirer, correct?
No, that's a different letter. I thought.
Same letter.
Same letter.
Oh.
And when you and I watched it last night,
I thought
we
it said Josh. But it
Yeah.
looked like it said your.
So maybe the Y looks like a J, and that's why we thought we could
I
only
think
see
so,
it because it was like through
a
her
short-
hair.
Yeah.
All right, so let that be like our AfterBuzz question of the night.
What do you guys
it's
think?
Probably your secret admirer. and we just
Probably,
thought
but I thought it was Josh. I really wanted to like know who it was.
I think
Yeah.
it's Josh too. I
Yeah.
really do. I thought that. I think it was last night.
I think it could be Nick though.
But we leave it up to you guys.
Or Tassos, and he's gone, so we'll never find out.
Oh no, they wouldn't use it.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
They
use
wouldn't
it.
use it because that's a continue. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a thread for later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know who you think who wrote that letter. Please, we're dying to know. And while you're at it, rate us. I forgot to mention that. Hey. Yeah, give us 5 stars, please. We really need those 5 stars. And let us know what you think. And let us know who you'd like to see on future episodes because I believe we have some pretty huge guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. So please stay tuned. I'm not just saying that as lip service, so please let us know who you want to see. So let us move on to the cocktail night, and which started out fun. I thought, Markel always, being awesome.
She says she has so much fun with him, and she just can't stop laughing.
His
which is-
UFC little thing was clever and fun.
Yeah.
It gets her to, they're touchy-feely
Yeah.
and they're playful. And if he doesn't win it all, I would love to see him on Bachelor in Paradise. I just think he'd be fun.
Yeah.
He'll be the
The
party.
life of the party.
Life of the party without
But not in the wrong way.
yeah, without being Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all this was leading up, all these great moments, and we get this moment with Eric and Andy, and
To me, it felt really misconstrued by Andy. And I get that she, I don't know, it just felt very like she was either really, really tired in that moment or PMSing or something. That's what it felt like, honestly, is she just snapped at him. And I don't think that she thought for a second like this is misconstrued, because there are times where she does have to put on a face and say like, hey guys, so tonight we're going to be doing basketball game or whatever, and that's not a natural thing. Or to have to say something twice because they didn't get the right camera angle on it. Those things do happen. So yes, you are acting at points. Granted, I think that she's genuinely there to find a husband. So I think that he meant it as some of the things don't feel real. The situation seemed contrived. That wasn't anything against her.
Yeah, here's my thing though. It kind of just, and I know it's a sensitive thing to talk about, but it just kind of seemed like, why would you pull that out of thin air right before a rose ceremony? And it was kind of my thing, like, you know what I mean? What?
I think that he thought it was going to go the opposite way. Like the other time that he mentioned it, they started getting into, do you know this? Like, I grew up Mormon, and they ended up having a really nice conversation. So I feel like he just wanted to make sure that he was still being considerate. Like, I just felt like if she's not that comfortable with him, either they just don't have a chemistry, or like you can have two very attractive people who are great for each other on paper. Sometimes there's just something missing. Like sometimes you just don't have that chemistry, and maybe they didn't. And that's why it felt forced,
which was explained in the next segment, that she said it stalled. And I guess we can combine, just everything, because it had to deal with, Eric and his time there. But I had a hard time watching it just because it was his last moments on TV.
Yeah.
And
Watching that voiceover as he's walking to the cab was really surreal. And I kind of was imagining, like while I was listening, like his friends and family watching this, because it's like his last moments on the show. And that was really, like, it was kind of that face that you're looking at right now was the same face I was making. It was very like sentimental. You're feeling the moment. It was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy and almost in a beautiful way. Like I thought they did it so respectfully. They did the best as they could with what they had to work with.
absolutely.
And I thought I was very impressed with the franchise for doing that way.
Absolutely. There were so many ways that could have gone wrong, and you had to tread so lightly. And,
Yeah.
like they talked about later, Chris Harrison even said it, we are a family. He was a central figure in this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to come back from commercial like that either. I didn't see
No.
that coming.
Yeah.
None of us did.
And I think that was the way it went out to commercial with the cab lights. It showed the cab and it showed the lights fading into each other, went to commercial. When it came back, it was Chris. It was almost like it eased you back into something because you just left on a really emotional note. So I was really impressed with that.
How'd you think they handled it, Kathy?
Honestly, I don't think that that was to honor him. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was very like, oh, this is our opportunity to have some PR after Andy just yelled at him and to save face for her. That's what it felt like to me.
Really? Well, okay, to go with that a little bit, I did think it was weird that, and JC, you brought this up, and I thought this after you said it, so this is your thing, but you said, why would they show kind of this? Like, why would they end it kind of on that note happening with him? Like, it was, you know what I mean? Right before the cab and the nice things he said about finding love, and life is all about finding love and finding family. Why would they end it on such a kind of a strange note with him, you know?
I mean, I think that they needed to show the entire fight so that it showed how much it escalated for him to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just felt like, I'm probably going to get hate comments for this, but I don't think that she was genuine completely when she was saying, like, I felt like, I mean, everyone, when they're on camera, they say things that or they understand that they're being watched by people and they don't want to be judged. And I felt like a lot of the things that she was saying were very like, okay, I have to say this because it's a sensitive situation. Like, I don't know.
Are you talking about it with Chris Harrison?
Yeah.
Well, you can see the edits, how they cut, how they were cutting, so maybe...
And it is a really sensitive topic, but I don't know. It just didn't feel like they were honoring him by
But she got emotional. She did get emotional.
She did get emotional,
talking
yeah.
about it, because no matter what, they didn't get closure as well. And, she said, "I thought we'd talk in the, when the men tell all." And
I want to know if they showed her the final edit for episode 4 and how it ended, because I would love to have seen her genuine reaction to that. If that's what the genuine reaction was, like I would hope that Andy would be like, "I was in the wrong." Like he clearly,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Like, he clearly was just saying that there were some moments that felt a little fake. Like, he wasn't accusing me of acting. Like, he was just saying that there were some moments that seemed contrived, probably by producers. And, furthermore to that point, like, he was a great guy. There just wasn't a chemistry there or whatever it was. But I felt like it was very, like, she still felt like she was in the right in that situation. And that's where I was like,
it's almost like there was
off.
two different ways. Like, ABC shouldn't have showed that stuff, like that fight, but I understand what you're saying. Like they had to show it, but they should, like, they portrayed him in such a weird light there, and then try to do the very honor and respect and do no
I don't think
rose
they
simmering.
portray him in a weird light. I think that
he portrayed
would have
himself.
wanted him to be in the next Bachelor.
well, up to this point, the whole time on the series, on the show this season, you see, he's awesome. He's amazing. And then towards the end, this last night, it was.
I thought that was awesome. If I thought someone was being fake, I would call them out. Like,
Nice.
I would want to go on that show for genuine reasons if I were there. Like, I would hope that the Bachelor or Bachelorette wouldn't be faking,
Is Andy doing the most she can within the context of how she has to behave on the show? Because she cannot tell him, "I love you. You're in the lead. I really feel for you." She can't do
I guess
that.
my thing
but
is that I just didn't
she's
agree
very
with what he was
comfortable.
saying.
She's very comfortable with certain people, and she's not, like, I don't know what it was, but like he said, it seems very contrived. Like, you have to sit here, it's very formal, and there are people where she just, like, does whatever she wants. Like, she's not acting, she's having genuine moments of, let's get a blanket and cuddle up. And she wasn't that way with him. And I don't know what it was, but it seemed like she closed herself off to him very early on, and she just made that decision. Whether it was she didn't like him enough to do that, or she could sense that he knew this was all fake. I don't know.
I wish we could have seen that moment.
Yeah.
Where was that moment? And what clicked? If it was internal, then I guess we're not going to see it. But if there was a moment that it just happened, because there's so much footage that's shot on the show that we'll never see.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was just he wasn't a front runner, and we've learned from so many bachelors and bachelorettes that you do have to lead people on. Like, you can't tell them you're not going to make it to final 2 or whatever. So I just have to keep you here until the roses go out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a loss here, because like we said before, no episode has ever ended like this. And Chris mentioned, for those people that were, wanting to know who ended up getting sent home that week, we lost Tassos.
And then Tassos tweeted 3 hours ago, he said, "Thank you for all your support. Tonight wasn't about a rose. It's about appreciating a man's legacy. Eric will be missed. # live like Eric."
That's
I thought that was really classy of Tassos.
Yeah.
It's fantastically, very well said. I think that's it for us tonight as well. So, I mean, definitely leave it at that, because he was part of the family, and, we fortunate enough to see just the wonderful, beautiful things he did week in and week out. And hopefully, if you have a chance, definitely check out his stuff on globalodyssey.com. But, Kathy, do we have any news for the week?
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, a couple of news stories. I'll keep it short. First, Bachelor in Paradise people left for filming today.
This morning.
Yes, some of them left last night, but some of them left this morning. Won't tell you who they are in case you don't want spoilers, but I'm sure that ABC will release that very soon. Otherwise, you can find them on the gossip websites. Or just, look at who's not Instagramming things for the next month. That'll be a dead giveaway. So also, we mentioned no new episode next week, June 9th. because of the interview with Hillary Clinton that will air on ABC. But we will get our 5th episode June 16th.
Yeah, we will.
Definitely stick around for that. Come back for that one. I'm just saying.
And then the last piece of news and gossip is there are some rumors that Juan Pablo and Nikki are filming couples therapy on VH1.
Yes.
Unfortunately, so the press release from VH1 went out a couple days ago regarding which couples would be on the next season. Juan Pablo and Nikki were not mentioned in that, but a lot of people are saying that they are on it, and he's just not able to promote it until his contract with ABC is up in August.
Yep. Yep. So.
I have one piece of news. There's been a new game started because of this season with Andy. And it's
Stop
called,
it.
Oh, yeah, there's a new game. It's called Fire Y'all. You take a shot of Fireball every time she
my
says
gosh.
y'all.
Oh, really? Stop it.
So,
Stop it.
Every time she says y'all.
You would get alcohol poisoning.
It's called Fire Y'all. So
Especially when she gets angry.
she drops that southern real quick.
All right, very well said. All right, so that's it for news and gossip. So, predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
What are we predicting? What's new? What's going on next week? They're traveling to exotic
weeks from
lands.
now.
2 weeks from
2 weeks.
now.
Yeah.
Marseille?
They're going to Venus.
Marseille.
I
They're going to
think.
Venus. It's this far off land
It's okay.
in Texas.
All right, so
I
what's
want to make a top 3 prediction.
already?
I'm ready for it. Yep.
Okay.
I thought long and hard about it.
All right, mark
Can I
this
do it?
down.
Mark it down. Josh, Marcus, and my winner. I'm calling it now.
I know. I
You're
already
gonna say
know.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3, but not my winner.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's your winner?
I don't know yet. I'll find out. I will make my winner prediction episode 5.
And also, I think Josh loses and is the next Bachelor. So I'm just putting it out there. Okay.
I think it'll be Marcus.
Nope. I don't think Marcus has as much.
Next
I don't
Bachelor,
he's
I
as
think, will be
intriguing.
Chris.
Ooh, I forgot about Chris because he's like my top
What
3.
about Brian?
Who's that? I'm
Brian, the
kidding.
basketball coach.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get him so confused.
Brian Bebo. Chris the Farmer could be the next Bachelor. I'll give you that. He's my
America.
he's my
They
top
love
Farmer.
him. There was a
Arlington,
piece of
Iowa.
news and gossip that I saw. Des said she thought that Chris was going to be the next Bachelor if
Already.
he doesn't win.
Good bet.
And then, I mean, Chris Harrison has just been singing his praises.
Yeah.
I don't see them together. Like
agreed.
Andy and Chris, I think that he's great. I don't think that they would mesh well
I think
as
he makes
a
top 4,
lasting
though.
relationship. But I definitely think that he will at least be in talks to be the next Bachelor.
I keep flip-flopping. I don't even know. All right, so let's get on out of here. Steven, you can cue the music. All right, so Danny Hoyt, where can we find you?
You can find me at Danny Hoyt on everything.
Keeping it short. You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly. And you can find me here. I'll be doing a new episode of Chatting with Kathy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And Steven, what about you, buddy?
Listening to the after listening to the Bachelor After Show every week with the great hosts JC Rubio, Danny Hoyt, and Kathy Kelly.
It's not so easy, Danny. I'm sorry.
What is happening?
It is late. It is late.
You can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram
That
and
was
Twitter.
awesome.
So for Danny, Steven, Kathy,
On
I'm
Twitter.
JC.
On Twitter.
We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Stop it.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.